Welcome to Money Matters, the podcast that focuses on how to use the money you have, make the money you need, and save the money you want. Now, here is your host, Ms. Kim Chapman.
Welcome to another edition of Money Matters. Today, we're going to talk about how we can provide community resources for those that are in need. You know, it's no stranger, it's no news flash that there's been a lot of government shutdown. There's SNAP benefits. They're coming, they're going. What are people supposed to do? So today we're going to discover that information with Crystal Ward with Capital Area United Way. Hi, Crystal. How are you today?
Hey, Ms. Kim. Thanks so much for having me.
So Crystal is not only with Capital Area United Way, but she's also one of our Jumpstart partners where we love getting together and pushing financial education. So Crystal, tell us a little bit about your position and what you do at United Way.
Sure. I get to serve as the Senior Director of Community Impact. And through that, we not only head up our programs like VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, but we also have programs. I manage all of these programs. We also have a SEMER, which is Family Stability Program. And I actually help with creating the grants that go out to the nonprofits that help serve our community.
Okay. So tell me, what have you seen or what type of calls or requests have you been receiving in light of the government shutdown and then the SNAP benefits pausing?
Yeah, so we see that the need is great and it's definitely increased due to the government shutdown. Help seekers are now, before we heard about utility assistance and rental assistance, but now we're actually getting calls about food. Where can they find food to feed their family? And so, we just noticed that the needs have definitely increased.
Okay. And so how is Capital Area United Way stepping up? Tell us a little bit about the organization and definitely, of course, the partnerships that you have.
Yeah, so we're Capital Area United Way has partnerships with Greater Food Bank, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. And at Capital Area United Way, we have created a community relief fund where community members, employers, other nonprofits, whoever can go in and donate to help with food insecurity in our 10 parish area. We serve 10 parishes, so not only EBR, but we go as far south as St. James, we go over to Iberville and West Baton Rouge.
Who should call?
If they need help, anybody. If you're in need, reach out. Call through 211. 211, the way the process normally works is through 211. They'll get a referral specialist, and that referral specialist will send them to whatever parish that they're in need of. If it's tied to our 10 parishes, they'll contact us, they'll send them to us, and then a care coordinator will pick it up from there and help them identify resources within the community.
So let's talk a little bit more about some of the different organizations that you partner with. So, and I guess I really want to focus a little bit on the food bank, if you can, and tell us what the food bank is providing.
Yeah, so if they are in need and they're looking for food, they can reach out to the Greater Food Bank and go in and get those resources that are needed. We've noticed that the food bank has been an excellent partner during this time, but we've also heard about different organizations having food drives. We actually do a food drive monthly. We'll have one this Wednesday. It's called United We Feed down in St. James Parish.
Okay. And what's the date on that? Because this may air before or after that, but what's the date for the food?
It is the 19th. So
Okay.
November 19th, this coming Wednesday, but we'll have another one in December, third Wednesday. We're trying to get in front of the holidays. So it'll be the third Wednesday in December for United We Feed as well. Because we know that this will kind of trickle. It's going to be a snowball effect, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't anticipate that, once the government shutdown is over, that the problems will go away.
Yeah.
How big of an increase have you had in terms of people calling or stopping by or getting information just compared to before the government shutdown?
Yeah. So we don't have exact numbers yet, but I can tell you that 211 calls have increased. Not only 211 calls, they're actually calling United Way directly now. And so I don't think we've seen the increase since the summer really, but this month, end of last month, kind of exploded. And then with that trickle effect, we actually see some local government employees that were laid off coming by our office. calling the phone.
And I'm glad you said for people that maybe have never been laid off. So for individuals that have never needed assistance before
Yeah.
and finding themselves in this situation, what would you say to them about reaching out? Because sometimes there's a little stigma that's associated with what somebody may consider a handout versus a hand up.
Yeah. I would just encourage them, look, this is the time and this is the season where community matters, right?
Mm.
So don't allow the stigma to stop you. Everybody finds a little bump in the road. And how the old folks used to say, you just keep on living. It's going to come around, right? But don't allow whatever that is to stop you from reaching out, because resources are here. The community is here. United Way is here. People like Miss Kim Chapman, we're here, right, to help to identify those resources that are available in the community.
And so there's food, there's possibility with utilities. What may be some other ones, just in case somebody's listening, and maybe they don't need the food, maybe they don't need utilities, housing. What else can United Way connect them with in terms of partners?
Yeah, we if you're facing eviction, we have an internal program that's called Family Stability, and Miss Alicia Rao, our director, runs that program seamlessly. So if they have school-age children in the home and they're facing eviction or utility shutoff, she's right there to help them avoid moving those children out of that area so they can get through the school year. So that's an internal program. They can call 211 and find out more about that. We have, and then any other resources that are within the community to help with housing stability.
Does 211 have specific hours, business hours? It's 24 hours a day, so that's good. Really, really great. And then for our listeners that maybe they are not in need, but they want to be able to help. It's always each one reach one, right? Somebody give back. So if somebody wants to be able to donate, what can they do if they want to help?
Yeah, they can go straight to our website, cauw.org. You'll see a pop-up screen that'll say Community Relief Fund. $2 can help a family. $40 can help for a box. Whatever they want to give, as small as $2. We'll take all of it and make sure it gets out into the community.
And if somebody dials 211, what can they expect? What are, who's going to be on the other end? What information, if anything, should they have prepared to give to whoever answers that call?
Yeah. So if they dial into 211, they'll get a referral specialist. And then that referral specialist, they'll capture their name, but also what parish or their zip code, so they can know which United Way, where they're located at. If they're tied to our 10 parishes, that referral specialist will say, hey, I'm going to connect you. Their name, their zip code, and their phone number. I'm going to connect you with somebody in the capital area, and they'll reach back out. And so it goes through that proper channel. One of our care coordinators gets that information, and then they reach out.
And then do you have any idea what that turnaround time is? If I call 211 today, how long I can expect before someone will reach out to me?
It's normally a quick turnaround. You have maybe 24 to 48 hours turnaround, and sometimes even sooner than that, depending on the volume.
Okay. So again, some really good resources. I know that, again, whether it's your first time needing assistance or just the next time needing assistance, 211 United Way has some really, really good resources. Any final thoughts, any final words of advice for anybody that may be in need of assistance?
Reach out. We're here. We don't know what the need is unless you call and tell us, right? We can't help unless you reach out. And right now, this is when community really shines. So I would encourage anybody that's in need, reach out. Let us help.
Well, hopefully this crisis will end soon, but if not, we'll definitely have you come back and give us an update on any new resources that may be available. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Ms. Kim, for having me.
It's time for Blueprint Building Blocks. Small changes that lead to big financial wins. Let's stack up for success.
In times of challenge, it is our community that shines the brightest. Every neighbor who checks in, every volunteer who shows up, every donor who gives, you're keeping a safety net strong. If you or someone you know needs help, dial 211 for local support. You heard it right here from Crystal Ward. Share that number because you never know who may need it. Today, take a moment to check on a friend, a coworker, or a neighbor who could use a little encouragement. And as part of the solution, visit cauw.org to give or to volunteer or to learn more ways to help.
That's a wrap on today's Blueprint Building Blocks. Stay on track with your financial journey. Subscribe to the Money Matters podcast and visit neighborsfcu.org/financial wellness for more tools to help you build a strong financial future.